So there, folks, welcome back to Town with Charon and Velerious.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Velerious. I'm pausing the old Derpsvillians. Some slight changes are happening.
Yeah.
Basically, you got yourself a new monitor, a new 1920 by 1080 widescreen.
Which means that I can
bells
now
and
code
whistles.
better.
Yeah, which you needed for your coding. Unfortunately, Towns won't run full screen on this monitor.
I discovered something else interesting about coding as well.
Can we do the monitor thing first
Yeah.
and then come back to that? So we're running this in windowed mode now. We're going to be test rendering this out. This is the test episode, basically, to see if the whole episode comes out without any errors on at all. So if there are any errors, that's why. And if there aren't any errors, then we've cracked it and everything's going to be great. But it's worth mentioning that obviously, Towns is eventually going to come to an end. Sooner or later, there's going to be we're either going to get to the end of the dungeon like we planned, or eventually technical issues are going to force us to give Towns up.
I think it'll be technical issues for the end of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Considering the speed we're going at and there's like 100 layers of dungeon.
It's getting harder and harder to sort of keep Towns going with everything that changes. So it's like, I just thought I'd bring that up, that, one step closer to the demise of Towns, basically.
Wow, you're starting this episode off with a great big
I know, it needs to be said.
I was going to start talking about coding, get people excited about learning, and you're just basically like, it's going to die. Everything's going to die.
It's not going to die.
Everything's going to end.
We think this is going to render out just fine, but it's like, you never know.
Burning everything.
You never know. There could be more problems that we haven't foreseen that means, we upload this to YouTube and it might come out completely wrecked,
I mean, the worst thing that would happen is probably we'd have to just do less and less episodes and start thinking of different ways to render it, different ways to open it.
Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, we've achieved so much on this. It's like, if we do end up ending it pretty soon, it's not a huge problem. I think we've got more than our money's worth out of it.
We did a whole lot of episodes on Towns.
It has been great. And obviously, when Towns does finish, we'll move on to something else. We'll have another long-running series to run between the two co-op ones that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what yet, but there's always Minecraft, basically.
That's essentially the way they look in the moment. Just Minecraft.
Because unfortunately, the other sort of sandboxy games we wanted to have a look at, like Stone Half and Space Base DF9, are so early alpha, it's like, wouldn't be worth doing them yet,
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, Velerious, coding. Rob, you're gonna have a bit of a chat about coding today while we let people clean up the beef.
My website, I basically got a few negative points written on it because I did a website for university.
Yeah.
I did it on my old monitor, which was 1366 by 768, and one of the comments that did come back was it doesn't work on big monitors. Because it was sized for 1366 by 768.
Yeah.
So the bigger monitor you got, it did not resize it. Which now I've finally realised that, since I've got a 1920 by 1080, what I can do is build a CSS sheet for this, a CSS sheet for normal computers, and then a CSS sheet for mobile phones. Which in turn would make the website look different, whatever device you were using it on.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I got this in the beginning, because it was that reason. And I did end up getting punished because of the fact that I couldn't build for a 1920 by 1080 computer, because obviously on my browser, I can't see it.
Yeah.
So I'd have to keep scrolling up and down with it, which in that case, I would have not been able to use it on my monitor anyway.
Yeah, it is a problem.
It's a problem getting it all fixed up and everything.
It is a problem.
One of the main things I enjoy about doing coding is, getting everything fit on a page nicely, right? So you have one page to look at. You have to sit there scrolling up and down. I mean, what's your mouse like for scrolling up and down?
Oh, it's crap.
It's the worst mouse in the world for scrolling up and down. It takes you 5 minutes to scroll down.
But that's because I purposely set it to one-line scrolling rather than three-line scrolling, which is what Windows has by default. And the reason I did that is because the scroll wheel was too sensitive for games like Left 4 Dead and TF2 where you scroll between weapons.
But you need to scroll through and swap them really quickly and go,
it's already still way too quick on one-line scrolling. This is an issue that never seems to go away, unfortunately, which is why I've learned to use the number keys.
Yeah.
And quick shift as well.
Well, you see, I don't use that. I have normal scrolling, and I just put up with bollocks in other games.
Yeah. It's just the way it is, though, man. It's just the way it is. I mean, I don't pity developers having to fucking code their games to run in these massive resolutions now. And
but the thing is, as well, it's like Stonehalf when that came out. They coded it in this resolution, But I can still play it in 1366 by 768.
Yeah.
I mean, it will work in that. It's just the UI is not exactly perfect, because obviously, as they said, it's easier to build the bigger and go backwards.
Yeah. UI scaling is a bit of a problem, especially like in certain renderers as well. Like not necessarily DirectX, but
I mean, what people have to remember is, like, even with towns, like, you've got that map in the top right corner with all these little symbols around. Now, on a bigger monitor, those little symbols can't just expand and go massive.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to basically look how they would on a smaller monitor.
It's like, you ought to try Dungeons and Dreadmore on this big screen. It'll look weird as shit. I tell you, because the UI on that changes depending on what resolution you're in.
Well, unfortunately, I've still got to do my playthrough of Bioshock, which could end up being filmed on a different computer. Because I never finished Bioshock.
Yeah.
And what with that being quite an old game, I don't even know if it runs 1920 by 1080. And if it does run 1920 by 1080, it's probably going to crash.
You'll have to do what I said and get yourself a monitor switcher. You know, so you can have two monitors.
Either that or I've got to figure out how this multi-screen thing works.
Yeah, the multi-screen thing. I don't know, to be honest. It's not something I've ever really looked into. I mean, that's the point. This is all such new territory for us. I mean, it took us long enough to get... You know, making the switch to widescreen like 1360 was such a fucking ball ache in the first place.
In a certain degree, I'm kind of glad I don't have the old monitor anymore. There was a lot of massive problems with it.
Yeah.
And one of the main things I noticed when I got on here as well is Windows has like a setting in the resolution settings which just says, do you want text to be larger?
Yeah.
So you can just literally turn the text up to like 200% and have it at our mum's size, you know, with her being half blind.
Windows has always had options for increasing the text size.
I know, but in 1366, you never even looked at it.
Yeah.
There's no point.
1366 is about just as big as I can comfortably take it, sort of thing. Anything larger than that, and I'm like, oh, fuck this. There's just no need. There is literally no need for these huge fucking resolutions.
In all honesty, there is need. Microsoft Word works brilliant on it. And Notepad++ is fantastic. I can see at least 100 lines of code, which means if I know I've done shit somewhere in a div and I'm not close to div, it shows me 100 lines up where that div is.
Now, I suppose that's handy.
In 3066 by 768, I could see 30 lines of code, and you know, in a website, maybe 200 to 300 lines of code per page. So that was an awful hard thing to do, where you got to click one div and then scroll up looking for this other div, and you're just like, where the fuck? Oh god, it was annoying.
Yep.
But no. For any text editor or anything like that, it's absolutely superb. Opening two web windows at once. So you can even have like Notepad++ on one side, have your other screen, your website on the other side, and just keep going and refreshing it.
I bet you're going to have trouble with games, man. I can see that being a thing.
Games, maybe, but in the long run, it's solved my education problem. And it's education
which is,
games.
Yeah, exactly.
Because let's face it, we've not exactly blown up on YouTube. Which if
this is in one column, look.
If we did, it'd be amazing. Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
There should be some weird things going on in these anyway, shouldn't there?
Yeah, because we're really in a window now.
Well, yeah, but it's still like, how big is this window?
What did I want to look at? Hog Roast. I mean, should we set this going? Is this Hog Roast Day, Velerious?
I don't know. I don't know what we said last time.
I think. I
thought we were going to set it going on a day we can just leave them there to do it.
Well, I mean, that's today.
We've only got a little
Go on, little blood monkey. I'm doing it, Velerious. I'm making a Hog Roast.
What I was going to say is, how big do you reckon this window is? Because in all honesty, it's actually still fairly big. It's almost filled up the entire screen.
I reckon it probably is. I don't know. I don't even know, Bill. I can't even put a fucking...
Well, if it's 1920, right, from the top to the bottom, you look at maybe about 500 pixels we've got either side. Well, not even either side.
It could be 1400. You know, what is it?
Yeah.
1480 by...
It could be in the 1400s.
I don't know.
But yeah, let's see what this episode comes out.
It's hard to judge. We're sort of going by ear at the moment.
The other problem is like, you know, Stonehalf, when it came out, immediately made a resolution. Towns, when it came out, had full screen.
We're doing it, Velerious. There is Hog Roast on the floor. Oh my god.
Wow.
We have Hog Roast.
I wonder what this game would actually look like in full 1920 by 1080 then.
It would probably look appalling. It was never designed to run that big, I don't think.
It probably wasn't, but it's still... Like, you'd be able to see more of the village, like, all the time, which would be way better.
Right, we need to maintain our raw food stocks.
That's the only thing that's ever annoyed me about towns, really.
What?
You just can't see everything. It's like it gives you the tiniest fucking space to see shit. So look how big our meat facility is, and it's basically, you can look at that, but you can't see half the bloody other part of the town.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, I mean,
It's like, it would have been so nice if they just turned around and gone, you know what, fuck it, we'll just make it so you can see everything.
If you were to increase the FOV, it's like, you'd have to zoom the camera back.
Well, even if they just
Which
gave
would
you, like...
make, I mean, the town is already a quite small and, you know, difficult to see the detail of.
Was just turn around and gone, you know what, why don't we just make the plus and minus on the very far right of the keyboard zoom in and out?
Yeah.
So you could zoom in out of a layer instead of going up and
That
down.
wouldn't be too bad. Although, again, you lead to problems like you played Project Zomboid.
Yeah.
And how when you zoom out in that, the UI no longer matches up to where your mouse is.
Yeah.
That confused the shit out of me the first time I played it. I was like, why can't I click on this button? Oh, because I'm ever so slightly zoomed out.
Weirdly enough, that happens on Stonehearth.
Does it?
When it's first open, right, in any resolution you play it in, it doesn't automatically just adjust to your screen.
Yeah.
So the window mode is actually smaller than it should
the UI
be.
stays where it is,
Yeah.
but your mouse doesn't because
Yeah.
it's resized
So you have to click underneath the start button.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Oh, great, this guy again.
This guy.
And we had him like
has
3
not got
times now. We have to keep
shit
buying shit
that
off him
we
and giving him shit
want.
back.
Let us
Cry.
Let us pray. Let's just buy a wood. Fuck it.
Oh, that's it now. 50 gold. Great Cummers all is going to be so mad.
I don't give a shit.
What profit did you make today, boys? Well.
I don't know if you noticed, Craig Gummersall actually said Peribishmus as well on the Peribishmus episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
Peribishmus should be a new thing.
It is, that's the thing. Right, okay, these hog roasts look fucking fantastically delicious. Look at this. Oh, God. So basically now it's the long process of taking
honesty,
meat and turning it into hog roast and barrel. Oh, we haven't got barrels for it.
In all honesty, the last 3 were going to be barrels, weren't they?
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
3. Okay, I'm going to set those up then.
In all honesty, auto-equip?
That's because there was a person on that square.
Oh, right. Random.
What am I putting on here? Not raw food. Oh, yeah, it's not raw food, is it? It's cooked food.
Yeah.
So it's all these. Oh, mama. Okay.
Yeah, what I was going to say as well is it doesn't really look that appetizing if you think about it. Hog roast is basically the pig head, which is not what you eat. You usually get rid of that bit and eat the body. With an apple in, so obviously it's healthy. I don't even know where the fucking apples come from, considering using
We've got that
chicken,
massive orchard.
a cow, and a pig. You got a chicken, a cow, and a pig. You've crammed it together and somehow made a pig head with an apple in. And even worse, they haven't even cut like the eyeballs out. So someone is going to sit there, a townie, and go, "Oh
Well,
yeah, I'm
Ulrich-
going to lick the
Ulrich
jelly
Bricks.
off those eyeballs."
Ulrich Bricks loves
He loves the
pig
jelly off eyeballs.
Yeah.
Puts it on a bit of bread. Yum yum.
I think you can eat the pig's head, by the way, because
You can
pig
eat the
ears
pig's
are a
head.
thing. You can eat pig ears.
You can eat the
and
pig's
you can
head,
eat
but
definitely
it's-
eat snout.
It's quite unusual to do.
You can eat trotters.
It's like you can eat trotters, yeah, but not many people do it unless it's like, you know.
But the thing is, the only reason people don't do it is because there's like some sort of perceived like thing about just eat the good meat. But you never know; it might be delicious. It probably is delicious. Like
No, it's
I
probably
used to
disgusting.
live with a Chinese guy years ago called Heiyang, and he once like brought home these chicken feet that he got from like the Chinatown
Chicken
market.
feet are quite nice, but no one eats them.
Yeah, exactly. No one eats chicken feet, and it was like, try these chicken feet, and I was like, what, chicken feet? And he was like, yeah, delicious,
Yeah,
and they are
actually quite
delicious.
nice.
I think the main reason people don't eat them is because there's sod or meat on them. You know what I mean? It's
Well, not only
like-
that, but it looks wrong.
Yeah,
As a society, we're one of these people that basically, you either have vegetarians who won't eat meat, or you have people who eat meat, but doesn't want to see the physical meat. If you put a dead pig in front of them, they won't eat it. But if you put bacon in front of them, they'll eat it. Because we have this kind of thing that, we have to make
if
it
it
not
still
look
looks like the animal,
Yeah.
yeah.
If it looks like the animal that you're going to eat, it's kind of a bit off-putting. I mean, to me, it's not. I just fucking eat it. Just get it in your
Well,
mouth,
you
there
say
go.
that, but you're a big fan of the old octopus, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
And you won't eat the octopus if it looks like an octopus.
Well, yes, but the one problem with that was it was literally like it was alive.
It wasn't alive, it hadn't been chopped up. And you
Yeah,
were like, it looks
but-
like an octopus, I'm
But
not
the thing
eating
is,
it.
when you get an octopus, right, what they do in Greece is you get an octopus and batter its head against the wall. That's what you do to kill it. You
Well,
batter
yeah.
its head against the wall. After doing this, they then just plunked it in a pan.
But this is why meat gets prepared.
But they plunked it directly in a pan, not cleaning it or anything. Just plunk it in a pan.
We don't need to
like
clean it if you're boiling it, I suppose.
But it looked like it alive because he's been put in a pan from after being fished out and beaten to death.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit like, oh, that's kind of, not right.
But it was just the case of, but chop it up and suddenly it's all fine.
Arguably, I wouldn't eat cat if someone brought out a kitten in front of me that was like
On a
skewered
stick.
through the ass. And he was like, oh, twice on my shish kitten. No, I don't really want a shish kitten, in all honesty. The little paws, the pads are very nice. Would you like to see its little tail? It wags while it's dead.
Couldn't pause. It reminds me of...
They would be like gummy bears, actually, wouldn't they?
Like, The Life of Brian.
That's
the film when Brian's selling all the weird Roman food, like otter's noses and all that shit, lark's tongues.
But the thing is, people eat different things, and like, as much as you'd like to sit there and say, oh yeah, I could just eat an animal if you brought it and put it in front of me, you gotta think of like, if you've got a pet dog, if someone just came and put a stick through its ass and then said, eat that, would you really eat it?
This is the other thing as well. I mean, for us, like, certain animals are taboo. Like, for instance, the whole horse meat scandal when that kicked off is because we don't really eat horse over here.
See, technically...
And there's other countries where they do eat horse and they just see it as a food.
We've got a hamster. And, I hope he's not listening, because I probably would eat him, to be honest.
But exactly, but if
Yeah,
eating hamsters,
a few of them.
if eating hamsters was commonplace, you wouldn't think twice, would you? You'd just...
I mean, now I've got to actually think about it. And then realise I've got to probably cook it somehow.
you say you wouldn't eat dog, but if you grew up somewhere where dog was just a general foodstuff, you'd be like, oh yeah,
but I'm saying, like, personally, right now, I would not eat it. And if anyone sits there and says, like, oh yeah, I could eat an animal that I could see it, like, dead, it's like, there's certain animals that would be taboo where you live that you wouldn't be able to do that. In India, don't worship the cow.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's people that don't eat cows. I mean, religions, like, there's a couple of religions that don't eat pork. I think it's Judaism and Muslims. I think Muslims don't eat pork either.
That's me about religion. Bloody hell.
But, yeah, that's the thing. So to them, it must be weird as fuck that we eat, bacon and shit.
What's Jay Leno got more of than an average man?
Shins. Or possibly penises. We're not sure. That was some fucking game that Velerious found on the internet.
Family Feud,
which if you live in the UK, it's Family Fortunes.
Yeah.
And it's like, a game show where they ask 100 people to name something and then you have to, like, guess what they said.
We asked 100 people to answer this question.
Yeah.
If Batman was to have a wedding, who would you not invite? Poison Ivy. Bing, 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 that's wrong.
The weird thing about it was, as well, the questions were very sort of ambiguous. On the UK show, it's a bit more straightforward.
Yeah.
The questions, like, sensible fucking questions.
But then again, as I kept saying, it's Americans.
Not sort of, yeah. Don't know, it struck me as a very weird game did that.
The weird thing is, when you think about it, Americans are very different to us. They do act very different, and they do take the piss out of us for being very posh.
It's a cultural thing.
I mean, I kind of like Markiplier's representation of us. He basically just goes, let me do my British accent. That's a British accent. You know it is.
We've got 55 roasts. Oh my god.
I'd be more impressed if we had 69. So you kind of spoiled that now. Would have been good to just leave it there for a little while. Also, as well, pork sirloin.
Pork sirloin.
It looks very much like just a chocolate Swiss roll type thing. If you look at it.
Oh, that on the
it's just like a rounded Swiss roll.
Looks like Arctic roll. The one that's got ice cream in the middle.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh, look at all these hog roasts. This is so amazing. I can't believe we've finally reached the stage where we've got.
I'm waiting for it to suddenly say, siege happens. 200 fucking evil badgers just swarm the hog roast away that you've just made. See you later, suckers!
Like, oh my god, the Desperate have got hog roast. Let's go over there now.
Thanks for all the hog roast.
So we've got hog roast. What we need now is to, like, form a metal band, build a stage, and put on a festival. For fuck's
sake. What we need is, like, badgers with, like, black glasses on the shades. So as they rob you, you can just go, deal with it. You run off without your hog roast.
No! My hog roast! Oh my god. I just can't believe it's actually working. I mean, it's taken him a while to get it all. The transitional period is going to be quite.
It's going to be really awkward when Mary comes out and actually says she doesn't like any meat. I just picked a random name. I don't think we've got to. I don't think we've got Mary.
Oh, we've dug into the pigs a little bit.
And she's probably dead,
And the chickens, but everything looking quite good actually.
The cow's going down quite quick.
It's all right because it will balance itself out.
Tell you one thing. I don't know how Ashen sits there and eats, like, bad food every day. We get bad food.
Bad food?
Don't touch it again.
Does he do food reviews? I didn't know he did.
Yeah. Town Shop food reviews. One of the ones that would have been quite interesting for you was, what was that thing he did that you actually quite liked? Oh, it was something that was, quite interesting as well.
Cool story, bro.
Oh, I'm trying to think of it now. Oh, goddamn.
You haven't got a clue, have you? Something edible.
Mm.
Like what?
It's like a munchy thing that you get in a tin, right? Used to get them all day breakfast or something.
Alright.
It did them, but it was something else. No, wait, Hunger Breaks in the pot with the little thing on top. The black pot.
Yeah.
He did one of them. Just thought it was disgusting. Spat all over it. It was like, wow, it's terrible.
Well, there you go. But when you're poor, you have to eat terrible things sometimes, Val. That's the way life goes. You can't eat nice things.
In all honesty, he showed us all a self-heating, warm, self-Christmas dinner thing.
Oh, and that was foul.
I was like, I could probably eat that.
I probably could.
When he got it out, it was just basically liquid, and it was like, there's maybe turkey in there, and it's just liquid. So liquid turkey,
like astronaut food, something worse probably.
And self-heating as well. He said the self-heating was quite good, apart from it heated the can up and not the food.
Yeah.
So, worked well.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea. You're asking for food poisoning there.
Yum yum. He also ate some biscuits from the war.
Oh, yeah.
What was that thing? He's been in the war.
Didn't he eat that Millennium Egg as well? Was that him?
Yeah, 1,000-year egg.
Yeah.
The Chinese one.
Oh, that's such a bad idea.
That he like broke it open and was like, "What? It smells of wet dog."
Yeah. I would not eat a Millennium Egg. They look, God.
1,000 years, it's not millennium.
That's what they call them, though. They call them the Millennium Egg. You realise 1,000 years is a millennium, don't you?
No. We call them millennium because we're English. Japanese people don't know what a millennium is. They're all like, 1,000 years. How many years you want? 1 year, 2 year, 1,000 years.
And on that racist note, Velerious, I'm going to pause Derpsville.
Okay, none of our viewers are Japanese or Chinese.
Except for Craig Gomersall. He's Chinese. Craig Gomersall.
He's a boss. We wouldn't know he was Chinese.
Again.
He's already an Alphalos clone.
Oh dear. Right, okay, we'll leave it there, folks, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.